And now it's time for half an hour of brass band music in the company of Nigel Seaman, sounding brass.
Hello and welcome to Sounding Brass and to week number 6 in our search to find the Radio Wales champion band of 1990. Now last week we heard Northup Silver play their way with 263 points into 3rd place in our league, just pushing Penclouds by 1 point into 4th place. Tredegar with 267 points are in the 2nd place at the moment, but out there in front by 10 clear points at the moment are National Fuel Distributors. Well, we're at the halfway stage in the competition, and we've yet to hear Bedrester Thomas and Macken, Christy Tyler Corey, Lewis Merthyr, Llanrug Silver and Point of Ayr Imco. Around the table, as usual, are 3 adjudicators, Dave Thomas, Ken Lloyd and Ian Morgan. So, let's get number 6's programme underway with an exciting composition by James Curnow, Blenheim Flourishes. Blenheim Flourishes by James Curnow, a piece in fact dedicated to the outstanding bands of Britain. Was this an outstanding band, Ken?
I think so. Very good start. I could hear all the parts coming through. It's a well-balanced performance. Just 1 or 2 missed notes.
It's not a march, is it? So it's a departure for us.
It's a bright opening number, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's excellent. And well played.
It's a difficult piece.
Well, I don't know about that, but it was a stunning starter.
You enjoyed it, David?
I did, loved it. Loved it.
So we have 3 very big thumbs up for the beginning of band number 6's performance. Let's see what you make of their second item, a piece by Mike Davis, and it's from his suite for brass. This is the lovely Elegy. The very beautiful Elegy from Suite for Brass by Mike Davis. Well, during that piece, there was great nods of approval from all three of you. I don't know who to turn to first. David.
Oh, a performance which was musically very, very effective indeed. Yeah. Thought the responses could have had a little bit more precision, a bit more musicality, but the piece created a great atmosphere. It was fantastic. And I think whoever chose this item, I don't know whether you know, but it's actually a movement from a fourth section test piece.
Really?
Yeah. And I think whoever chose it was a courageous man, woman, it, he, she. Just give my options open there. Yeah, a courageous choice.
Why courageous then? Because surely it's not too easy. It's a very difficult piece.
No, but what happens these days, bands tend to, particularly the better bands, tends to forget about the lower section pieces. A lot of this happens. You take the Eric Ball, Indian Summer, things like that, and they're afraid to record things like that. But I think the lower section bands would agree that they should record it, and I'm one of those.
Well, that's how the lesser bands learn, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And the lesser bands will listen to this and say, "Cool, that's the way we should have played it."
Yes.
It was beautifully played.
It takes a courageous band to play because there's some very long phrases. Did you detect? I thought I detected once or twice some hesitancy from one or two of the players. Did that come across to you, Ken?
Not a great deal, no. I sat there in wonderment, really, and listened to this very nice playing of a very lovely piece of music.
Oh, it is superb playing. Lovely and controlled, and lovely sounds. Beautiful sounds throughout the band.
I particularly liked the use of rubato myself.
Yes.
Did you?
She's called about, yes. It is very nicely done.
My goodness. So, three again.
Three in agreement.
Very much in agreement. Right, we're now going to feature a very unusual solo instrument. We don't hear that often exposed in the band. A soprano cornet solo. This is Philip Sparks' Capriccio. Capriccio by Philip Spark. And that's a soprano cornet solo. Yeah, and what did you think of that?
Excellently played, Nigel. Very, very good indeed. I thought a fine opening. The soloist plays with confidence and has a lovely bright soprano tone, as does the rest of the band. The soloist, good technique, plays with style and plenty of musical expression. And I thought the accompaniments were very, very well done indeed.
David Thomas, as an ex-cornet player, can you fill our listeners in on exactly what is a soprano cornet?
The soprano cornet is a very difficult instrument to play indeed.
That's putting it mildly.
But this soloist made it sound so easy, didn't he?
He jolly well did.
Yes.
That is magnificent effort. The role of the soprano is likened to the orchestra piccolo. And you get the higher sound because the tubing is shorter than a cornet, thus giving you the higher sounds. Very difficult to play. If he plays a note, everybody hears it.
There is just the one soprano player in the band, isn't there?
Yes,
That's right.
Adequate, I think.
Oh, yes.
I don't think you want enough to do.
One,
you could
Well,
do like
this
that, it'd be
standard
all
is
right.
sufficient anyway.
one's enough trouble.
Well, certainly one player of this standing is more than sufficient for any band, isn't it? An excellent
You mentioned
performance.
the tone. It's almost verging on the sort of orchestral trumpet
Orchestral
sound he's
trumpet
got
sound.
there.
On my inferior equipment in my parlour, I thought he might have been playing a piccolo trumpet at one stage, yes. Yes. He changed the sound so well. So well. And yet that low, probably G for him, was there.
But I can assure you it was a soprano he was playing.
He was
as
a
well,
soprano.
so
Well,
that's-
on a soprano, I mean, that was superb playing.
Yes.
Well, we'll see what you make of their finale, and they've picked a massive piece to finish with. In fact, it's over 5.5 minutes long, but it's a very effective arrangement by William Himes of music by Wagner, taken from Lohengrin. This is Elsa's Procession to the Cathedral. mighty Elsa's Procession to the Cathedral, bringing band number 6's programme to a close. As usual, before we hear the Adjudicators' final remarks, let's take a look at our notice board. And news, first of all, about an event that all brass band enthusiasts can take part in. On Monday, June the 25th, I'll be presenting the South Wales Brains of Brass quiz at the Ton Pentre Football Club in the Rhondda. Apart from providing what I hope will be an enjoyable social occasion, proceeds will go to the Christy Tyler Corey Band as they pick up the pieces following the recent fire which gutted their band room. I'm looking for teams of 3 people, not necessarily representing a band, to test their knowledge on the history of banding and their general knowledge of music, and also to identify music which I'll play you off tape. The winning team will take home the Phoenix Trophy, a handsome relic from the burnt-out shell of the Corey Band room. The quiz isn't going to be recorded by Radio Wales, but if you'd like an entry form, you can write to me here at Sounding Brass, enclosing a stamped addressed envelope, and we'll send one on to you. As usual, I'll give you the address at the end of the notice board. Now, regarding our 1999 Radio Wales Brass Band competition, tickets are now available for the final, which will be recorded on Saturday, June the 30th at 3 o'clock at our studios here in Cardiff. I'm delighted to say that well-known broadcaster Noreen Bray will be joining me to act as compere for the final, and although I don't know which 3 bands are taking part in the final, I'm told by my producer that it's going to be a very exciting finish to the series. The tickets are free, and you can get yours by writing to Sounding Brass, again enclosing a stamped addressed envelope. So here's our address. It's Sounding Brass, room 2002, BBC Radio Wales, Cardiff CF5 2YQ. That's Sounding Brass, room 2002, BBC Radio Wales, Cardiff CF5 2YQ. So it's time now to find out what our 3 adjudicators thought of band number 6 performance, and beginning with Ian Morgan. Your summary, please.
Well, I thought it was an excellent programme. The band played very, very well indeed. A good choice of programme as well. They started off with a bright opening and played in spirited style with confidence and good tone. Sweet for brass, beautiful sound throughout the band, and the soloist played sympathetically, and they conclude with a lovely ending. Capriccio so far, soprano cornet, where we've spoken enough about that. I mean, he played an excellent solo, which we all thoroughly enjoyed. And the Elsa's Procession to the Cathedral, this is well-controlled start with beautiful tone and good attention is paid to detail, with all parts combining well together, giving a tight all-round sound. The playing throughout this number is very good, and you move on to an excellent climax. I thought they played well.
You've enjoyed band number 6 performance, obviously.
Yeah, I did, yes.
Ken Lloyd, same for you?
Yes, I enjoyed it. The very good start. I could hear all the parts coming through. Well-balanced performance. Just 1 or 2 missed notes. In the Elegy from Mike Davis's suite, I thought this was a very pleasant number, and the band played this well. Soprano solo, we've said enough about this. Delight, and the soloist must be congratulated. People might criticise the last item as being not so much entertainment, but I thought they played it so well that I just sat there and listened to it, and it was marvellous. Really first-class band and a very, very good programme, and well played.
Dave Thomas, a rundown from you of the band's performance.
Right, well, it was a stunning start, and I'd mentioned that before. There were some inaccuracies in the upper parts, but it was heraldic in character, a terrific opening item. The Suite from Brass by Mike Davis, yes, I thought it was a very courageous choice and very well played. The Capriccio, it says here, for Brian Evans. I think he'd been very, very proud of this. Very proud indeed. In fact, it was gladiatorial. And I give it 9 and 15/16 out of 10.
Goodness.
Why not 10 out of 10, dude?
Well, in fact, you asked that, and the reason I didn't actually, I just thought there was a lack of a bit more subtle playing in the middle of it, really. And I think if you're playing something like this, as dexterous as he is, then somewhere in it you just want to ease off a little bit to wait for the ending of it again, which was, well, super. I'm being super critical, of course I am, but... So we come on to Elsa's Procession. Right. Well, it had soloistic problems to begin, and in the piano section the tuning just faltered slightly, and in fact momentarily it lost perception in the ensemble role, and that concerned me a little bit. The build-up was magnificent. The climax was
Yes, it was.
fantastic.
Excellent.
But I've got here in brackets, personally, of course, why was this item chosen to end the programme? Because I would have loved to hear something like this in something like a prom. Been fantastic. But thinking of the listening punter, then I've got my doubts on that one, which will reflect slightly in the programme.
So programme choice loses 1 or 2 points in your opinion, David?
Well, I've got the heading here, the supremo soprano gave this band a big advantage. But the final item didn't, for me, enhance the programme content.
Well, I disagree, my David. I thought it did. I thought it was excellently done, and I enjoyed the number.
I think you're right, but I must say that the soprano player, was a tremendous asset for this band, and that performance was really very well done.
And that's what for you sets the band apart?
Yes.
Has it been the whole combination of programme choice, the direction, the soloist? What sort of weighting have you had? What sort of loading on these various aspects?
I think entertainment value has been very high on my list. Have I enjoyed the performance? And as I say, sitting there without the score was a great asset, I felt, because you just had to sit and listen and not be thumbing through pages of score, wondering whether bands and chords had been missed. But also the playing and the technique of playing. And you could feel sometimes that some bands were really putting everything in, but other times there was something lacking in their performance.
The purists may say, for example, in their final piece, which is long, very stamina draining, there were some split notes. Did that detract for you, Ian?
Not really. I remember Frank Wright, the old famous adjudicator years ago, often said in the competition, you might have 1 or 2 split notes, but it's the overall picture after all.
So you've looked at the overall...
The overall picture,
performance.
Yes, which I thought was very well done indeed.
Well, I can hardly wait to find out your points. So let's go straight on then. Ian Morgan, your points for band number 6, please.
92.
92, high points. Ken Lloyd?
I give them 93.
You can't split those this week, David. What have you given for?
I can join them though, can't I?
You can join them by all means.
Yes. Well, having said what I have about the final item, and I still stick to that, of course, I still give them 93 points.
93 again. Well, it certainly must be a high-scoring band. Let's find out who they are, first of all. You can hardly wait, can you? You're all looking very expectantly here across the table. Well, the band this week are Bedworth to Thomas and Macken.
Well done.
Conducted by Melvin White. And your supremo soprano in the Capriccio, David, was Deiniol Williams.
Excellent. Very well done.
And our calculations tell us that the BTM Band have gained 278 points. That puts them 1 point in the lead. They now head our league table. They've knocked National Fuel Distributors into second place. Tredegar Town are now in third place. Well, a bit of a turn up for the book. The whole competition's blown wide open this week. I hope you can join our 3 adjudicators, Ken Lloyd, David Thomas and Ian Morgan, and me, Nigel Seaman, next week for more Sounding Brass.